WoW's new player leveling experience is bad. How to fix it? Alright, let's hear how to fix it.
Leveling experience is bad. Like, it's not good. And that's going to be the topic today on Krendor Talks in front of a shitty green screen. So, World of Warcraft is a game that's been around for pretty much 20 years at this point, right? And it seems that recently they've been struggling a lot with getting new players to play the game.
That's true.
In fact, you can go back even like 10 years ago and they're like, hey, we're trying to get new players to play the game, right? It seems like that they are in this constant struggle of getting new players.
How do you expect to get new players when every single patch and update you're trying to add more mechanics to the game, make it more appealing for veteran players and stuff? Like if we look at like the development of like World of Warcraft, like retail, right? And you compare, for example, to classic like dungeons and raids and even the storyline, they just keep adding more and more stuff focused on the old player base, so they stay in the game, keep playing it, but they don't do really stuff that is like for new players. Like I'm making it like a little bit more beginner friendly, like maybe trying to summarize the story so people that play the game even have any idea of what's happening in the World of Warcraft. What are the recent events, who is this character, how was this one introduced? Like you have no clue what the heck you're getting into as a new player. Like the story is just like puzzles you have to put together yourself, and it doesn't even have like numbers, like is this puzzle number 1, puzzle number 2, like even Chromie time walking, it doesn't even say which events have happened when and who is in this involved, which character appears there. Like it's just so confusing.
And the question is, how do you get new players and keep them playing? So I think a lot of times people will try World of Warcraft, but then they move on to a different game, or it's just not for them, or whatever the case might be, right? And I think there's a few reasons that go into this. So today, I wanted to break down why I think that is and what I think they can do to fix that. So we're going to start with one of the most blatant ones, and that is the story. So back in the day, right, back in classic World of Warcraft, the story was pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
When you started playing World of Warcraft, you were a nobody. You were about to embark on the hero's journey, right? You were a level 1.
Simple choice.
You end up in whatever starting area you're in, and they're like, hey, you're a nobody, but you're going to make it in the world someday, right? And you're like, okay, so you start killing boars, and you start picking cactus apples, and you start killing kobolds, or whatever it might be, right? And you start going through this world, and you start going to different zones and different areas, and slowly but surely you start leveling up. You're gaining skills, you're gaining talents, you're doing all these different things that are making you stronger. And then by the end of it, you're like, wow, I've leveled up, I've gained abilities, I've gained skills. Now I have the power to go and fight these big dungeons and raids and monsters and bosses and all this stuff, right? And
Yeah, it feels rewarding. Same when it comes to like gear. Like in retail, it's so easy to get gear. Like even now you have this Firak event where this like big bad fire dragon appears, and if you go there, you get like item level 400 plus gear. And I think was like 2 pieces of like the 400 something gear you can get, and you can get like some 380 90 blue armor pieces, right? So if you're like a new character, you just go there once and you're already above item level 300, also from doing just some quests and stuff, right? And it's just so easy in like classic WoW, like old school WoW, vanilla WoW. Like if you get like a blue item, you freak out like if you get it for the first time, because sometimes you take weeks to just get one, right? Like you level slowly and stuff, and it was annoying for some players, but I thought this was kind of cool. You actually had to go to like trainers and pay them gold to learn new skills. And when you learn like new skills, for example, I remember like when I for the first time learned Blizzard on my mage, my AoE skill, I was freaking. I was like, oh, I have a nice AoE skill now. I finally found this trainer. I made enough gold. And then I felt like so strong. I could put like suddenly multiple mobs and have like no issue. Before I would pick them one by one. And it just felt so rewarding. I don't get this feeling in retail. I'm like overpowered from the beginning. And I just run through the game and I get like immediately almost max item level gear, at least the gear to do immediately raids and dungeons. And there are like no pre-dungeons I must do to acquire gear. Like if you look at like classic WoW, vanilla WoW, you have to do like low level dungeons at some point sometimes to get the basic gear for the next dungeon, right? And in Retail WoW, it's not like that order. You can just do any dungeon you want, and there's like normal mode, heroic mode, mode, mythic plus mode, and yeah, it doesn't matter which one you pick because the scaling is kind of different. Like, yeah, and with the gear, you just get good gear so fast.
And I know all about the zones because I've been to most of the zones because you have to go to most of the zones, right? So that's pretty much the story, and you kind of have a lot of little side quests in all the zones and everything, but there's no big main overarching story, right? And as we've progressed through expansions and expansions and expansions, the story has kind of been stacked and stacked and stacked to the point where I don't even think Blizzard knows what story they're telling anymore because they've retconned it so many times, right? They're like, the Lich King did this, but wait, no, the Jailer did that. The Jailer did that thing with the Lich King, and that. So like, even the people that have been playing the game for 20 years don't even know what's going on. So you think somebody that just started yesterday that's like, oh boy, I can't wait to play World of Warcraft is going to know what's going on? No.
A big warning. If you're doing Chromie time walking, don't do Warlords of Draenor. Even though everywhere online it says if you want to level up from questing, pick Warlords of Draenor, because this is the fastest to level to max by just doing quests, right? Like, it is true, like, it's very simple to, if you don't want to spam dungeons, to get to max in just a few days if you do Warlords of Draenor, just the storyline, right? But as a new player, you're gonna be lost in the story, because you're gonna wonder, who the heck is Garrosh? Why are we on an alternate timeline at the home of the orcs and the Draenei and stuff? Like, what the heck is happening? Like who is Garrosh? Why is he the bad guy? Wait, what? He came from our world? And wait, what the heck is happening? You get lost in the story. Don't do Warlords of Draenor, because in order to do Warlords of Draenor, understand the story, you must have done Mists of Pandaria. If you have not done Mists of Pandaria, it is horrible. Oh, and even Mists of Pandaria can be confusing, because there's this Garrosh character, and he just is the war chief of the Horde, and you have no clue why he's the war chief of the Horde. Then in order to do this, you need to go back to Wrath of the Lich King to have even Garrosh as a somewhat significant character inside the Horde, so you understand why he later becomes the war chief and stuff. Like, it is crazy. Like, if you want to understand the story, you have to do every single time walking campaign, and you have to do them in order. You need to start with like Cataclysm, or like even like the classic one, if it's even possible. I think Cataclysm is like the first or the only like time walking we have. We don't have like, oh wait, we have TBC. Never mind. Yeah, we have TBC. So you have to start like with TBC or before that to understand what's happening. And here's the problem now. If you do the first era, the first expansion of WoW, and you try to get to the next one, you're not going to be able to, because guess what happens? You reach like level 60, then you get this nice thingy pop up that says where Chromie says, hey, we need you in the current timeline, return to your capital, like be it Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and from there you get like to the Dragon Isles. And it's like funny, because I never actually got to complete a single time walking campaign from just doing questing, because I often end up at like maybe the last like 5-6 quests or something to already hit like max level, sometimes even before that if I do side quests. So I never get to completely finish a time walking campaign because I'm already max level, and that even without heirlooms, right? Like without the extra gear that gives you like extra XP. So I still will reach with just normal quest reward gear max level before I finish the time walking campaign. It is frustrating because I never got to experience the whole story, and I was this kind of person that was not always involved with World of Warcraft. There were like some years in my life where I was like playing other games and stuff, right? So I have like a lot of gaps when it comes to like story for me. So I can kind of like understand the new player perspective, because I have not played WoW from day one till now, and I never stopped playing it or something. So I have a lot of gaps of information, and I can't fill those up anymore because it's just so much, and Blizzard, they don't want to summarize it for me and new players, and that's the issue. We need a unique time walking campaign for returning players and for new players. We don't have that.
And a lot of people are like, you have to like redo the story and stuff.
I should
like,
just do like a WoW 2.
So.
It solves it. WoW 2.
I mean, you have Exile's Reach or whatever it's called, right? That's like the standard new player experience, and that's kind of a, it's its own story, it's its own thing. And honestly, I think Exile's Reach is good for new players. I think it's all right.
Yeah, I recommend this
but
one.
you do that, And then the weirdest thing happens, right? You get tossed into like Battle for Azeroth, or if not BFA,
But
just
you don't
some random
understand
ass
why.
expansion. If you're a new player and it's like, which expansion you want to go to? You're like, I don't know. I just started playing this game, and it's like, you got to pick one. Which one sounds good? And you're like, Miss Pandaria, and it's like, all right, go on, you're going in, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you end up there, and you're like, oh, okay, you know what? This is kind of cool. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Right, I'm getting
It's a
to learn these
beautiful
characters. I'm
expansion,
getting to do
nice
all
zones.
this stuff. This is pretty fun, but you start going through it really fast because they like, I mean, you level up fast when you're doing this now, right? And so then you're like, oh boy, I'm getting attached to these characters and the story, and then before you know it, it's like, all right, go to Dragonflight.
Yeah, this happens to me
And not
all the
even
time
just
on
go to
your
whatever
characters.
the newest expansion is, and it's like, oh, but I was just learning about Pandaria.
Yeah, you're in the
and
middle of it, and you're already
it's
done.
kind of fun, and we were having a good time. It's like,
You haven't
yeah, that's
finished.
cool. Go to Dragonflight. Lose all attachment you just had to these characters you were just leveling with and learning about. You're going to the thing that matters. So it's just weird. It feels so detached, and it doesn't feel like what's supposed to happen, right?
You know how like Elder Scrolls Online solved this issue? They made everything freaking scale. There's no time walking. You just go to the zones. They have their unique story. If you want to play an expansion, you use the Way Shrine, or sometimes there are also NPCs in like big cities, and they will bring you to the expansion with a wagon or something, right? And because they make everything scale with you, you can get max item level gear from any sort of time walking zone. I'm just calling them an ESO, no, time walking zone, because each zone has its unique story that is connected to the main story and everything. And you just go from one to the other, and there's even like a quest line that leads you through every zone, like a time walking for every zone. And it doesn't matter, you can play with your max level friends, or if you have like a new character, you can still play with your guildmates, because you can get the max item level crafted gear, and you can get it also from just doing world bosses and stuff. And sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's meta actually to use the second or third zone's gear set you can actually get. So it's like funny. You can be in like the latest expansion ESO, but you actually get from the vanilla zone the best in slot gear or something. And this is so cool. Your gear, you can upgrade it manually. You can make it golden and stuff. Like there is no such item level. You don't have like, oh, you have heroic gear, you have mythic gear and stuff like in WoW. And then if you do like super high gears, high keys, you get like item level 430 plus drops or something, right? No, you don't have that in ESO. Like everything is like, you just like max level, and all the gear you get is max level. But you sometimes get it in blue, and if you have it in blue because you did easier content, you have to spend more gold and farm more materials in the overworld to upgrade your gear to like, let's say heroic level like purple, right? And legendary to like the mythic, the hardcore mode. So you just farm like rare mets, or you farm tens of thousands of gold in game from not doing any dungeon content, and you can like max your gear. And I think the way they do it in ESO is more new player friendly, for example, than in WoW, where you have to do one stage of difficulty for a dungeon to get gear. And this, like what Blizzard needs to do is they need to detach the gear from the expansion and the story. Like what I want to see is they give us some other rewards. Like maybe they add housing, and there's like unique housing items you get and not best in slot gear, or some really cool mounts if you do Mythic Plus, right? And there's like a chance to get the super cool mount from M plus 2 till M plus 16 instead of the highest item level gear. And once you do the plus 16 mythic key up to, I don't know, 25, you get like another mount or housing item or something. Like Blizzard needs to find a way to make everything scale and make the item level and gear not be like only dropping from doing the most difficult content. I feel like the issue we have nowadays with WoW is we are like, they are way too much gear and veteran player oriented. Like instead of giving content to veteran players, they're trying to give the min-max by adding the hardest gear and stuff. And then it's so much focused about getting to the end game because it's all about the best gear. Like if Blizzard can detach everything from gear, like have not the gear meta in the game and other stuff, then it would be also more new player friendly, because then nobody needs to rush, because you get the best in slot gear from anywhere, or maybe the crafted gear is the best in slot, right? And you don't need to do the mythic raids and stuff like that for that, but you add some other interesting rewards like cool mounts, maybe some nice cosmetics or some sort of skins or something, right? Like there are other ways to make the highest difficulty content meta and rewarding without having it be about gear. Like it shouldn't matter, I think. Like the ways, like now you have to climb up freaking leaderboards to get the best in slot gear, and you need to have like some pre-requirements. For example, if you want to do a, let's say, plus 16 key, like people need to see with the Raider IO add-on that you have at least cleared up plus 14 or something before. Otherwise, they don't want to invite you. And people are being judged by their leaderboards and stuff in order to make groups. And this is stupid, because you didn't have this in the vanilla WoW days, right? Like in vanilla WoW, you just get into a guild, everyone is nice with you, and they just check if you have decent gear. You have decent gear, you can run with them. But now if you're like a new player and you want to do, let's say, higher keys, you need to have done some keys that are just -1 or 2 before that and stuff. And people are just looking so much at your score. Like, hey, this new guy in the guild, what is his score? Okay, he has like good gear, yes, but what's his score? What, he did only a +8? No, we're not gonna take him for a +12. We're gonna take the guy that did the +10 before or something, right? So people are just being judged by numbers, and gear matters too much in the game. And I think this is something that Blizzard needs to get away from. It shouldn't be about item level and about like what is your current score. Like the story and world starts to matter less and less because of that. So like he said, like WoW Grandor said, people get detached so easily from the zone because you're immediately max level and you are asked to be rushed to like the latest expansion, like Dragon Isles. Come, we have emergency, come to the capital. Like what the heck? Let me stay in whatever expansion I want to and just give me the max gear there. Like, why the heck does it matter what I play in this world? It's an MMO. It should be a free world. I should be able to move freely from A to B without being freaking pushed into doing the latest expansion. Just make the latest expansion tasty with cool cosmetics, mounts, and other features. Like, don't give me the best in slot gear there. Like, just scale up the whole world with me. Doesn't matter. Just like in Skyrim, I go to like one city, Whiterun, I'm like walking around the city, I'm level 10, I get freaking stupid bandits, I can like 2-shot, and once I get there with like level 40, I get vampire masters that 2-shot me. Like, just do it like that, Blizzard. Just let the world scale with us. Like, do a different kind of scaling, and max item level drops from everything. Or maybe it drops in like some blue quality, but you can, if you're like rich or you're doing a lot of side quests, you could just use tens or hundreds of thousands of gold to just upgrade it to max level. You don't have that,
it doesn't feel
sadly.
like what's supposed to happen, right? It's disjointed and it's bad. Like at this point, just let people start in Dragonflight. Like that's almost what I would recommend, is just let people
remove
start
everything
in Dragonflight at this point.
Expansion.
Like, but they're not going to do that because number one, it's probably still not going to help new players if you just go straight into Dragonflight, because there's so much stuff going on and it kind of builds off things that happened previously. And then number two, there's also level boost. That's a monetary gain.
Yeah.
But what I think would help is something that needs something after Exile's Reach. So obviously you can take the normal path, and I feel like
a pre-Dragonflight
storyline
storyline
path and level normally once you've gotten past the new player experience. I feel like if you're a brand new player, you should have to do Exile's Reach, which I think they do. But then there needs to be another zone, and I think this zone needs to be like a Barrens-esque experience, right? Yeah. Almost like how you go from Duratar to the Barrens, right? Like that type of experience, like a whole nother 10 levels of learning about the game, but in an advanced aspect of it. And I don't even mean
hinting
like
at the latest expansion.
Here we go, right? But more like a guidance, because I think you need to start encouraging things like exploration, because I think that's fun, right? You encourage people in this new zone to like go around and find the treasures like you can in a lot of the later expansions, right? And find things like toys and pets, right? You can get into the different aspects of the game, like, oh, look, a pet battle's happening over there, right? Or wow, you know, you can get a mount from this guy. He drops a mount. Like, oh, I learned about mount farming. I guess I can use mounts in this game. And then Oh, I guess with Dragonflight, it's kind of like you learn about a mount, and then there's just so much shit going on. Right? It's so hard to condense it all into one leveling experience now because there's so much happening. But I do think having, you know, a Barons-esque experience where then maybe you learn about the talent trees a bit more. You get to learn a bit more about like your class and like the different talent tree or you know, sub specs you can go down.
You know, it's really good, but you only get this kind of experience if you level up a Dracthyr. So if you pick a Dracthyr, you actually get some sort of pre or intro quest line, like a storyline before the events of the Dragon Isles, right? But you can only do this as a Dracthyr and not as another class. So what if they actually made it where from Exile's Reach, you actually are being called to the location of the Dracthyr because, I don't know, Khadgar's or someone, or Kalagos located some sort of ancient, I don't know, tomb or ruin where he maybe felt some life form or something, right? And we should investigate there. And then we actually end up freeing the Dracthyr. So the starting quest line actually, or let's say the second zone of Exile's Reach is actually where you go and free those Dracthyr. And then you do the same quest line with them or something. I think that would also kind of solve it, right? But then there's like this monetary thing, like he said, because maybe you get there with like what level? What is actually the level you finish Exile's Reach? Is level 15 or 20? I think it was like 20 for me. I'm not sure. So yeah, you would be like with level 20 in a zone that's like intended for what, like level 50 or something. I don't know, but they can maybe fix it. They find like a way to scale it or something. But yeah, that would be way better if after Exile's Reach you can maybe help the Dracthyr get free or something, and you understand what the heck is even happening on the Dragon Isles. Because you have to be like, I think level 50 or something to make a Dracthyr, right? So it's like the requirement for it. So as a new player, you don't get to start as a Dracthyr and understand what's going on in the latest expansion. You start with like, I don't know, maybe like an Orc Warrior or something, and you go to like Exile's Reach, right? Then you get into one time walking campaign that you can only not even finish, but do like half of it, then you're like max level and stuff. It's just so confusing.
You can learn a bit more about professions, because I mean, you know, they show you like baby profession stuff, but before you know it, you're in Dragonflight and you're like, what the shit is going on? I got profession talent trees. You don't even know how to use your own talent tree, right?
Yeah, you never use them at the early experience.
And I think the hard part about this is you have to design something that's going to withstand the test of time, right? Because the game is changing. Every couple years, a new expansion comes out.
Yeah.
And then will that still hold up with whatever you design to happen after Exile's Reach? So there is this weird kind of conundrum, I guess you could say, of like, how do you design something that withstands it? But I feel like if you create a good base, like a good foundation, like things like pet battling, that's probably not going to leave, right?
What if they had a sandbox kind of zone that is each expansion changing? Like, what if we make Exile's Reach adapt with each expansion, so that there's like a new expansion? Let's say the Voidlands is the next expansion. Then suddenly you're on the ship, you're starting in Exile's Reach, you get shipwrecked because some void tentacles destroy your ship suddenly. Like, it's not there's like a storm or something, or you're under attack. No, it's a freaking void tentacle that just cuts your ship in half, and maybe you see like a little cinematic there. And then you are in the Exile's Reach, and Exile's Reach is actually your outpost for your faction, or for the, I don't know, for some faction that's like neutral, right? And you need to help them because they're being invaded by the Void. And all the quests that you do there are for like anti-Void or something, right? And then you get called for help into the capital city, and then you go through the to the latest expansion. But here again, we have this issue, like I said, with the Dracthyr kind of thingy. That means they need to make it where the latest expansion is for level 20 or something, or the max level you actually get from doing Exile's Reach, and not level 60. So they kind of need to like do they need to put this together, like bring it to level 20 instead of level 60 or something, that you can access the last expansion. That would solve a lot. That is like a sandbox zone that you just customize and just change up each expansion. There's a Void expansion, you add Void stuff. There's like a new demon expansion, there's suddenly everywhere infernals and fellhounds running around, and just the demons attack this. It's always like an enemy that you have latest expansion that's attacking Exile's Reach, and you need to help them there or something. I think that would also solve a lot.
things like learning how to.
Yo, I have so many good ideas actually. I've just
maybe
noticed.
have like a bit more advanced dungeons. Like when you do Exile's Reach, they give you like some weird AI baby dungeon type experience.
Yeah.
You have like an actual dungeon you
It's
can
nothing
run
like the end game.
where maybe it actually teaches you mechanics and everybody in the group gets to learn together. Like
Yeah,
there's
Dispel,
different
for
ways
example.
you can go about it.
Teach
And I
us
feel
how
like
to
Blizzard
dispel.
is going to do something like this. I feel like this might be their best path forward. Because otherwise, like, they can't keep doing the expansion route, right? They can't keep going down to, like, just play BFA again. It's not good. Or even just any expansion. Like, it's disjointed, it's weird. Which
just
leads me to
puzzles
my next point,
disconnected.
which is, there's, like, portals all over. And for somebody that knows everything, you're like, oh, yeah, you go to Dalaran, you go to Dalaran 2. Two versions of Dalaran, right? Even that's confusing. Like somebody's like, wait, Dalaran, but then this one's Dalaran. You're like, oh yeah, that's Legion Dalaran.
Yeah, it's like with puzzles, like I said. So you have like one puzzle, right? And if you finish the puzzle, you get like a whole picture, like. Right, so you have like the Garrosh puzzle before he becomes evil, and then you have to puzzle Garrosh into a War Chief. So you're doing like Wrath of the Lich King and such, right? And you're in Cataclysm, he's like War Chief and stuff. Then you have like the Jaina is being hated in Kultira sort of puzzle if you play Alliance, right? Then you have to do how did Jaina even get hated there? Why is her hair no more blonde, but it's like partially white? And it's just... You have those independent puzzles. They don't even, like, if you take one piece from there, you put it there, it doesn't match even. So you need like the whole puzzle for this puzzle to, it's just so strange.
That's Wrath of the Lich King Dalaran. Right? Like it's, you're just like, what? And it's like, yeah, the one
and
portal
why is it
takes you there, one
different?
portal. So like if you're going exploring and you come across a portal room and you click a portal, you don't know where the hell you are.
Yeah.
But it's not like fun exploration. I think that's the thing, right?
A
Like,
Legion Dalaran is Arjuna.
A new video game. Let's say, you know, you're even in Dragonflight. Let's say you're exploring in Dragonflight. You're like, whoa, what's over here? What's over there? Oh, what if I go in this cave? Not like I went into a portal and I don't know where I am. It's like you got on a train, you fell asleep, and you woke up and you don't know where you are.
Yeah, it broke stuff.
That's not fun.
It's happened to a friend of mine. He was in a different country
city,
even.
looking at cool stuff, not like, oh, I got on the bus and then it took me to a place in the middle of nowhere and now I'm lost. I don't know how to get home. Like that, it's like I didn't want to do this. So you know, they need better exploration, not like portal exploration, which is you know, I read a story about somebody getting lost with the portals. That's why I put that down. I thought that was funny too. I also read a thing about somebody saying they get weaker as they level up, which is true, which is a really weird concept because right in Classic WoW,
That's actually true.
and I'm not even saying Classic WoW is better because I do think Classic WoW has plenty of flaws.
Because
but
scaling is strange.
or really just any game, right? You start as a character that's not good, and then you get better gear, and you get talents, and you get abilities. And
I said this about my forsake my undead mage. When I was like leveling and I learned Blizzard from a trainer because I paid cash for it and I finally had enough gold for him from doing the quest, I could suddenly pull multiple mobs. Before I had to like 1v1 constantly or 1v2. Now I could like kill 3 mobs at a time solo. And this was something I was like, wow, I'm so powerful now. You don't get this with retail. Like, it's the opposite. Stuff gets stronger, it feels like.
and you become
Can pull
good.
even less.
And that's the progress, right? You get better as the game goes on. But in the WoW new player experience, you start and you're not great, and you get better, and then you kind of get worse because then you hit the new, like you power up through leveling, then you hit the latest expansion and you just get worse. And then you have to get better again.
Yeah,
And it's like it's weird. Like I think it messes with your mind because you're like, wait, what? I just leveled,
Why am I
and now I
weaker?
got to here, and now I'm worse. But I guess I can level again. Like it's not good.
No, it's not.
Which is part of the reason where I'm like, you may as well just let them go to Dragonflight at this rate, right? But the thing is, I think with Classic WoW, right, it's slower. But it allows you to learn and go through the hero's journey.
It's more player friendly, yes.
And kind of with yourself, right? You like learn about the game, you learn about all these things, etc. The downsides, I would say, is it's probably the quests are kind of just grind quests. They're kind of boring, and it takes a long time. And I think for a lot of people,
Few
a
months
lot of
to
people move
max.
past that, right? They want faster, action-paced stuff. But at the same time, Classic WoW and Modern WoW, they're like two completely different games. right? You know, this current version of WoW is so focused on endgame, while classic WoW is more focused on the leveling experience. And I feel like the only way you could really fix it,
but that's also how you ruin MMO, by focusing on an endgame.
To do like a big reset, right? Like to reset the game to the point where you have to be level 1 again. But in order to do that, I don't think you get rid of everyone's stuff. I almost think you would make an expansion where everybody, you know, essentially goes through a portal, right? Or something.
Time walking.
And they're just like, oh man, all your old gear doesn't work here. Like everything just doesn't work. It's practically a new universe where all your stuff is broken. Like, and then, you know, you can obviously go back and play in the other expansions and other worlds where you have your stuff. But when you go to this expansion's zone or continent or whatever it is, everything is wiped and it's only new stuff. I think that could be a way to do it. But then going forward from that, how do you progress? Do you keep resetting every time? Because that's like, I don't know if that's going to work. It's a tricky situation. Like, I understand why this is so complicated. There's so much shit that...
It just reminds me. Yeah, guys. So I bought the latest Elder Scrolls Online expansion, Necrom, right? And if you make a new character, I made an Arcanist, you actually start in the latest expansion and you level from there, right? Yeah, they could do it kind of like that. So they, like, I'm sorry, Blizzard, I know you want to make a lot of cash. Just find other ways to monetize than level boosts. Like, I don't know, make gear boost or something. Okay, this like pay to win, people gonna hate this, but not level boost, not gear boost, but find some other sort of boost or give them some level boost to not 60, but level 70, right? Yeah, just make the level boost max level, not 60. Yeah, let's just do that. Max level is level boost. So you don't have to do the latest expansion, you just pay the cash you at the end of your expansion. Because you don't want to play the game anyway if you level boost, right? Or you already played it and it's your second character. If you're a new player, don't boost your character, do it on your second. If you really want, like, if you're lazy, you don't want to level up a character, or you don't have the time because you're the father of 3 children, you have like a 10 plus hours job daily, even weekends, sometimes, just boost your second character, doesn't matter, but not the first one, right? And yeah, if Blizzard makes the boost be not level 60 but level 70 and lets us all have the starting experience in the latest expansion, just like they're also doing in ESO, where you make like a new character, you are immediately in the plot of the latest expansion, they tell you about issues, you arrive at the starting location. I think that's a way to solve it too. Level boost to 70, not 60, and we're good. Yeah.
They have to like figure out and condense and all this stuff. But
there's so many ways to monetize, like they can get rid of some of the stuff.
You may as well just not even have the leveling process, right? You may as well just say, this is the new expansion. You can start at the new expansion, have fun. And they almost do that because they give you a level boost a lot of the times, right? So that's why I kind of fall back on the aspect of just create, you know, you have Exile's Reach, create a new, you know, Barrens S continent to allow players to continue to learn how to play the game. And once they get a basic fundamental understanding of like, okay, I kind of get what World of Warcraft is now, and it's all about the end game and whatever, and I understand the basic mechanics and how to play my character and my class and the professions and all these little things that are kind of big things, then you can actually just jump into the new expansion, whatever it is, and go, all right, I just pick it up and roll, right? And I think that might be the best way to go about it, because I thought about it for a while and I'm like, I don't know, man. It's tricky. So that's my rant about the new player experience. It's not doing great, but I'm sure there are some ways to fix it, and I hope Blizzard is thinking about them, and I'm excited to see what they do, because that's all I got, and I don't even know if that would work. I'm not a game designer. I'm just some guy on YouTube that makes videos with voices and top 10 lists. So thank you for watching.
I love your top 10s.
Comment, subscribe, comment down below what you would do to fix the new player experience. Out of curiosity, I always enjoy seeing every's thoughts and opinions.
I would tell you guys what I would do.
That type of stuff.
Everything.
Not everybody's. There's always one guy who's like, this game sucks. Just let it die. All right? Like, okay. Now the whole comment section is just going to be that. But that's all I got. So thanks for watching. If you want to see some pointless top 10s, I'll put one up here. We also got plenty of other ones. We had rats. We had pointless NPCs recently. Also, I made some other videos of me rambling about stuff like WoW villains and Azeroth revamps. So go check that out as well.
Oh, we haven't
Thank you
checked
very
that
much
one
for
yet.
watching, and I'll see you next time.
Wow. Okay, I will tell you what I would do. If I was the lead dev of Blizzard, I was like the leader. You know how I would do it? I would do it like this. So if I'm like, yeah, the new players, they get something like maybe like Exile's Reach, or maybe not even. You know what I would do? I would put them straight into the latest expansion with the starting experience, right? So you immediately get to a ship that leads you to the Dragon Isles, and there you are being welcomed. They tell you about, oh, we have some issues, there's some primals that disagree with the dragons, they're trying to ruin the land, they want to get rid of the dragonflights, we need to help them and stuff. And I would do it like this: you start immediately in the latest expansion as a starting quest line. And how would I make old content relevant? Now listen to me, and this is going to sound, maybe some people are not gonna like it, but I'm looking at like some other MMOs that are doing some nice scaling and stuff. But I would get rid of the idea that the highest item level drops from mythic raids and from high M+ keys. I would find a way for every single zone to drop the highest item level gear, or at least one, where you can like upgrade it with like rare materials and stuff, right? And just if you farm a lot, you're into professions, you can max your gear manually. Even if it's blue, you can make it like purple, and even like get the highest item level, have like item level 447 or something on some pieces, right? So I would get rid of the concept you need to do the most difficult dungeons and raids to get the best in slot gear. I would instead try to find some very unique, cool looking mounts, some other maybe unique skins, or some cool titles you get from doing the hardest content, and get away from like you need to do gearing to do the highest stuff. And I would instead focus on they're like mechanics, going to be like difficult dungeons, but it's for those people that want the thrill, that want to have some excitement, that want to get the adrenaline pumping. So the true veteran players are going to clear the hardest content for some cool achievements, mount and cosmetics, and not to get the best gear. Because if you focus in an MMO so much on item level and gear, you're pushing people to the latest expansion and to clearing the hardest content just so they can get gear. And then the focus is not on the story and having fun and exploring and checking out older zones, but it's by sticking to the latest expansion and trying to improve with your M+ keys. Oh, you only managed to do now +8 keys, +10 keys. Oh, keep trying. You will eventually get to +16, and if I'm not mistaken, +6 is actually the highest item levels you can get, right? And yeah, now you can do the +16s, get your myth gear and stuff, right? Like, there's just too much focus on getting high numbers in WoW rather than having fun and exploring the game. And item level matters too much. I think the best in slot gear should drop anywhere, and it should not be so gear focused, but you should get like other nice extras from doing the high keys and the mythic raids. Like you get like cool unique skins, cool unique transmogs, nice mounts and stuff. And you get something else as a reward, but not the highest item level gear. And if you look at it nowadays, we have like the weekly vault, and you get like gear that's like a couple of keys above the ones you did anyway, right? And I see like there are a lot of lazy players that are not even trying to push for +20 to get the best in slot gear. They just do like 16s or 14s. They wait a week, and then they get like high item level gear from the vault. So yeah, we need to get rid of the concept of item level comes from the latest expansion, the highest, and yeah, you should be able to start immediately in the latest expansion as a starting experience as a new player. And for the boost, just make the boost be maybe with like basic gear, or with just level 70 or something, and not, hey, level 60 boost. Just do something there. But yeah, guys, if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And yeah, let me know in the comment section what you would do if you were the leader of Blizzard, and how you would change the game to be more new player friendly. I will see you guys in the next video.